Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Housewife Historian, and today we are going to be discussing Teddi MELLONCAMP and Jim Edmonds conflict. Okay guys, they have had it out, they've posted text messages, they are not happy. Well, really, Jim's not happy with Teddi over some comments that were made regarding his wedding invites to his previous fiance and now wife. Megan Edmonds was featured on the Two T's in a Pod podcast, and Teddi asked about invitations regarding Jim Edmonds' new wedding coming up. Megan, and Teddi discussed this. But before I get into all that, guys, I'm trying to grow my channel, so if you could go ahead, hit a like button, subscribe, turn those notifications on. You guys never know, these women are crazy coast to coast in other countries, and if you want to stay up to date and you're a Bravo fan, then you got to turn your notifications on. Alright guys, let's get started. So what happened is Megan Edmonds, Jim Edmonds is her ex-husband. He is a famous retired Major League Baseball player. And he has since moved on after him and Megan got divorced. He's been dating someone, and they, I think, already got married. Yes. The wedding invitation, I think the wedding's already taken place. I'm not sure. I'm going to look into that. I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't say one way or the other. Regardless, what this argument is about is that Megan Edmonds was on the podcast. I'm literally Googling it right now, if Jim Edmonds got married. And I didn't feel like Megan said anything disrespectful or out of the sorts or that could be found any sort of way of offensive, because remember guys, they have 3 kids that they have to co-parent. Megan married Joe Biden's nephew, and they were divorced in a very short time. So I don't think she's trying to make any trouble with her ex, because he seems very chauvinistic. So I assume that at this point she probably tries to deal with him minimally, right? As little as possible. It just looks like they're engaged. I think their wedding is set to take place in August, so the same time around Teresa and Louis' wedding. So Teddi brings up, she like blindsides Megan. I felt like it seemed genuine. You could tell that Megan was blindsided, and she says, "Hey, Megan, did you happen to see an invitation to Jim's wedding that's coming up? Did you get one of the invitations? Did you read it? Anything like that?" Megan's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, somebody DM'd it to me." And listen to how funny this is. And as soon as she said somebody DM'd it to her, I thought, why would anyone DM you Jim Edmonds' wedding invite? Like, I don't think that anyone considers Teddi this super Bravo news outlet podcast, if you will. I just don't see that, but I'm sure that she has very loyal people that keep an eye out. But I think those people are probably more like production and her executive producers on the podcast. To me, it felt like you could tell she was really trying to make them happy. The only thing that was strange on the invitations that Teddi mentioned in the podcast to Megan was that somehow they worded it like it was like a James Bond themed wedding. Like the way they said the attire. I forget how they worded it with her, like something like she's a Charlie's Angel or a Bond girl, and so wear black tie if you want to be like Jim, like a Bond man. It was very strange. It was strange. It was strange. I'm just saying, it was a little strange. If you guys want to go back and check that out, I'm sure that you can on their podcast, Two T's in a Pod. They don't actually show the photo of the invite, though. She just kind of holds it up to the screen. So Jim is pissed, right? Because basically, Megan does not say anything. She's just interested. She's like, huh? What? What does it say? That's weird. I didn't know he thought of himself as James Bond. And then that's really it. And she even says, how did you get that? Somebody DM'd you that? And she's like, yeah. And I feel like Megan was like, if somebody was going to DM, if they thought, you know, if they're going to DM anyone with Jim Edmonds' invitation to his second wedding with his new wife, wouldn't it be Megan? Anyways, guys, I feel like Jim must have felt the same way, because he texts Teddi, and says, did Megan send you that invitation? Hard to believe that out of 18 we sent to our close friends, one found its way to you. Teddi's reply, she did not. I blindsided her. I got a DM with it when I posted on Instagram saying, what questions do y'all have for Megan? He says, show me. She says, I'm not going to out the person. I give you my word. Why does everyone think that Teddi's word means something to us? I just don't. Like, she is so, she has so much more integrity. Like, Jim doesn't even know you, so what does your word mean to him? Anyways, she says, I will give you my word. I will happily have Courtney on the podcast to discuss and apologize for showing it, which Courtney would be Jim's fiance. And he says, show me the DM without the person's name on it. I don't believe anything that comes out of my ex's mouth. So how should I trust you? ? He sends another text. And why would she want to come on your podcast after you literally just laughed at our so-called wedding invitation that you read completely wrong on the air? Teddi replies, I'm not going to fight with you. And the invite was also posted on someone's Insta story. I can apologize, but that's where I leave it. And he says, I have some advice for you. Clean up your own shit and stop worrying about other people's before it comes back to bite you in the ass. She says, gotcha. I love when men angry text women they don't know. Jim replies, we're not fighting. I'm calling you out because you're trash, because of the trash that you put on your podcast and your trashy guest that you had on trying to make fun of somebody else trying to have a good life. So, you talk trash about my wedding, but you don't know me or my fiance. That must make you trash. I'm not angry. I feel bad for you and your family if that's how you make a living from getting kicked off of a fake reality show. He calls it fake. Have a nice life, piece of shit. Do you know, so he says, have a nice life, piece of shit. Then sends another message that says, do you know what people think of you? That's sad that you're trying to bring other people down. I won't have any of it anymore. Good luck. So, what do you guys think about that? And then he corrects her and says that his girlfriend's name, Courtney, is spelled with a K, not a C. Also, guys, you can find this on Instagram. Give credit here to the Bravo Chicks. It's the_Bravo_Chicks on Instagram who posted these messages. Because all I had seen was that Jim Edmonds called Teddi a piece of shit. I was like, damn. I don't really listen to their podcast that much, but of course, if there's gossip and such that I see on there, then I'll go on and listen to it. And I do like Megan Edmonds, so I might go on and listen to that podcast. I only caught a couple of minutes of it. I like Megan. I feel honestly kind of bad for her because I feel like Jim was kind of a dick. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I give a lot of my opinion in this one because I'm opinionated when it comes to Teddi, and we all know how a lot of people feel discouraged with her, and we're not seeing Tamara on the podcast as much. She's allegedly not going to be quitting the podcast, but we have to know that her biggest priority now is going to be the Orange County, and that's going to kind of leave Teddi again by herself in this whole game of podcasts, because if you guys remember, I told you guys before, Teddi had this podcast prior to Tamara. They didn't come up with it together. When Teddi got fired or she quit or whatever she did on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her next adventure was this podcast, and I think her and Tamara must have somehow came across the same producer, gone on the same team, working together, and it really helped Teddi's podcast grow. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does now. Not to mention, like I said, guys, Jim Edmonds called her a piece of shit. I want to know what you guys think. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to turn those notifications on.